Hey, welcome back to the Max and Mia podcast. I'm Max, and today I'm feeling, well, I'll be honest, a little tired. I had one of those mornings where your alarm goes off and you just stare at the ceiling for like 15 minutes thinking about life.
Oh no, one of those mornings? I totally get that. I had a coffee, then a second coffee, and I'm still kinda sleepy. But hey, we're here, and I'm excited. And Max, we're not alone, right? I bet a lot of people listening are commuting, walking, or doing chores while listening right now.
Exactly. Maybe someone's on a bus or even at an airport, just like I was last week.
Oh yeah, you said your flight was delayed, right?
Delayed 4 hours. I read a whole book and still had time to stare at the snack machine. I ended up just walking around the terminal pretending I was in a movie montage.
So dramatic. But hey, sometimes waiting becomes part of the journey. Honestly, I love airports. Watching people come and go, imagining their stories.
Same. Travel does that. It makes everything feel a little more alive, doesn't it?
It does. And speaking of travel, guess what we're talking about today, friends?
Yup. Today we're diving into something we all experience in some way. Travel. Not just vacations, but the stories, the unexpected moments, the weird little detours, the people you meet.
Planes, trains, buses, lost luggage, surprise friendships, magical sunsets. Every journey has a story.
We'll be sharing some personal stories and playing 2 real travel audios from different parts of the world.
So wherever you are, on the move or at home, come along for the ride. Let's explore together.
All right, Mia, let's start with the big question. What's your favorite way to travel? Plane, train, or bus?
Oh, that's hard. But okay, I'm gonna say train. I love how you can just sit back, look out the window, and see the world roll by. There's something peaceful about it.
Totally agree. You can stretch your legs, walk around, no seatbelts, and there's a rhythm to the movement, like a lullaby for adults.
Exactly. And what about you?
Honestly, I love flying. I know people complain about airports and delays, and believe me, I get it. But there's still something magical about being in the sky. Looking down at the clouds, seeing the cities below like tiny Lego sets, it never gets old.
Okay, yeah, I'll admit. I always pick the window seat. But flying also gives me anxiety sometimes.
That's fair. I once sat next to someone who prayed out loud during takeoff. And I was like, should I be more worried right now?
Oh no, I have a story too. Want to hear?
Absolutely.
So, I was in Italy trying to catch a bus to Florence. But I read the schedule wrong and totally missed it. I ended up stuck in this tiny mountain village with no phone signal, no taxi, and just a little cafe that closed at 6. I was so freaked out, but this sweet old woman let me stay in her guest room. We didn't speak the same language, but she made me soup and showed me photos of her grandkids. It ended up being one of the best nights of my life.
That sounds like a movie. A bit scary at first, but so beautiful. That's the thing about travel. It forces you to trust strangers and find kindness in unexpected places.
Exactly. What about you? Any travel story you'll never forget?
I've got one. I was in Japan, taking a local train through the countryside. I didn't realize it was one of those scenic routes. And suddenly we're going past waterfalls, rice fields, mountains, all glowing in the sunset. It felt like I had accidentally bought a ticket to a dream.
That sounds incredible. And see, you didn't even plan it. That's what I love. Travel teaches you to be present.
Yes, and even when things go wrong, sometimes especially when they go wrong, those are the moments that stay with you.
Totally. And now we're going to share 2 stories from other travelers. Real people, real experiences.
But first, before we play the first audio, we're going to go over some important vocabulary to help you understand better.
That's right. Just a few useful words and expressions you'll hear in the story. Ready?
Let's do it.
Vocabulary preview.
Okay, before we play the first story, let's go over a couple of words you'll hear. The first one is platform.
Oh, what does platform mean?
Good question. In a train station, the platform is the place where people stand and wait to get on the train. It's usually a long, flat area right next to the tracks. For example, the train to London will arrive at platform 3.
Got it. So it's where you stand and wait. Like, I was waiting on the platform when the train arrived.
Exactly.
Cool. What's the next word?
The next word is single.
Single? Like not in a relationship?
That's one meaning. But in this case, single means a one-way train ticket. Just going to a place, not coming back. Example, I bought a single to Osaka because I'm not sure when I'll return.
Oh, okay. Like, she asked for a single to Paris, not a round trip.
Perfect. All right, now that we've got those words down.
Let's hear the first story.
A. Excuse me, which platform does the train to Cambridge leave from?
The 10:15 train or the 10:40?
The 10:15.
The 10:15 train leaves from platform 3.
Thanks.
B.
Hi, could I have a ticket for the next train to Manchester, please?
A single or return?
Single, please.
The next train is at 12:30 p.m, leaving from platform 2.
And how much is it?
£13.50.
C. Tickets, please. Can I see a ticket, please?
Yes, here you are.
This ticket is for Oxford.
Yes, that's right.
But this train doesn't go to Oxford. It goes to Liverpool.
What? Liverpool? Oh no!
D.
The next train arriving at platform 1 is the 15:45 train to Exeter, stopping at Bristol Temple Meads and arriving at Exeter St David's at 18:30.
E.
What time is our train back to London?
It leaves at 4:30. We've only got 5 minutes!
What platform does it leave from?
Platform 2. Look over there!
I can't see our train anywhere. Let me see the ticket. Look, it says 4:20, not 4:30.
Oh no, we've missed it!
No, we haven't. It's late. Look, here it is now.
Phew, that was lucky.
That was a great mix of travel moments, a little confusion, a little luck, and a lot of train talk.
Yeah, I love the guy who ended up on the wrong train. Total nightmare, but also kind of funny.
All right, let's see what our listeners remember. Max, take it away with the first round of questions.
Okay, question number 1. Where does the 10:15 train to Cambridge leave from? Option A, platform 1. Option B, platform 2. And option C, platform 3. The correct answer is option C, platform 3. Question number 2. How much is a single ticket to Manchester? Option A, £13.50. Option B, £12.30. Option C, £10.15. The correct answer is option A, £13.50. Question number 3. Why is the passenger surprised on the train to Liverpool? Option A, the ticket was too expensive. Option B, the train was late. And option C, they are on the wrong train. The correct answer is option C, they are on the wrong train. And finally, question number 4. What happened with Harry and Angel's train? Option A, they missed it. Option B, it arrived late. And option C, it left from the wrong platform. The correct answer is option B. All right, Mia, before we jump into the next travel story, let me ask you, what's the most unexpected adventure you've had while traveling?
Oh, that's a tough one. but I think it would have to be when I got lost in a small village in Greece. I was trying to follow a map, but the streets were all winding and narrow. I had no idea where I was going, but I ended up finding the most beautiful hidden cafe overlooking the sea. I spent the whole afternoon there just relaxing.
That sounds amazing. Sometimes getting lost actually leads you to the best places. I had something similar happen in Spain. I missed my train, and I ended up spending the night in a tiny town that I'd never planned on visiting. I was upset at first, but the local people were so welcoming, and I ended up getting a private tour of this ancient castle. It was incredible.
I love that. The best experiences usually happen when things don't go according to plan. Do you remember a time when a travel disaster turned into something amazing?
Oh, definitely. One time I was on a road trip through South America, and my car broke down in the middle of nowhere. I thought, that's it, I'm stranded. But the locals were so helpful, they fixed the car and invited me to stay for a family dinner. It turned out to be one of the most memorable meals of my life.
That's incredible. I feel like travel has a way of teaching you that everything can be an adventure if you're open to it, even the bad moments.
Exactly. And sometimes those bad moments make for the best stories. All right, now that we're in the mood for some real travel tales, how about we listen to the next one?
All right, get ready for another adventure. Here's the next travel story.
All right, before we dive into our next travel tale, let's go over some key words you'll hear in the audio.
First up, departure. This is when you leave a place to start a journey, like the moment your flight or train is about to leave.
Exactly. For example, the departure for our flight to Paris is at 6:30. Mia, what do you think?
Right. So it's the time when you actually leave. Like, I almost missed the departure time for my train to Madrid.
Great. Next word, dropped me off. This phrase means when someone gives you a ride to a place and then leaves you there.
Yes, like, my friend dropped me off at the station on her way to work. You're left at the place you need to be, and they head off.
Exactly. Now, let's move to well looked after. This means being taken care of properly, like if someone is looking after you or making sure you're comfortable and safe.
So, like, I was well looked after during my stay at that hotel. They gave me a free upgrade. Makes you feel like royalty.
Totally. And last one, queuing. This just means standing in line, usually for something like tickets or food.
Right, like, we spent 30 minutes queuing for the best pizza in Rome. Everyone patiently waiting their turn.
Exactly. Now that you're all set with the vocab, let's jump into the next story.
When I was 21, I took a flight to the US to spend some time with my boyfriend. When my dad dropped me off at the airport, he went into full parenting mode, fussing and worrying over me. He told the man at check-in that I'd only been on short flights before. The crew member told him not to worry, and that I'd be well looked after, and he told me to wait on some chairs near security. I did so, and a bit later I was escorted onto the plane in a car. I was the first on the plane, and I saw that there was a colouring pack on my seat, which I thought was a bit odd. I was about to ask a cabin crew member about it, but they were busy with the other passengers who were all queuing and boarding after being cramped on a coach. A bit later, I was asked if I wanted to go up to the cockpit to see the pilot, and I did. It was there that the captain asked me how old I was. He got a bit of a surprise when I told him. That's when I realised that my dad had made them think I needed special treatment as a minor. It was hilarious.
I was on a flight from India to the USA with a stopover in Dubai. I was just boarding when I saw someone I recognized, but he was in a wheelchair, which was odd because I had always known him as a fit and healthy guy. It was curious, but I didn't know him well, so I decided not to get into conversation with him. He might not be in the mood for small talk if he was under the weather. I didn't see him during the flight. I think he was in first class. At Dubai, I saw him again being wheeled through security while I was queuing up, and then I saw him again after we arrived, and that's when he noticed me and gave me a cheery wave. It was about a week later when I saw him in the park. I couldn't believe my eyes. He was jogging. I couldn't understand how he'd made such a fast recovery. Anyway, he spotted me and jogged up to me, and we got chatting. It turned out that there was no injury at all. He'd just bought himself a fake doctor's certificate so that he could pass as a wheelchair passenger and get special treatment. Apparently, it's common practice.
I was 13 years old when I took a flight to London with my mum. Neither of us had been on a plane before, so we were excited but nervous. We knew that we had to get to the airport 3 hours before our flight took off, but what we thought was the check-in time was actually the departure time. So when we arrived at the airport, the flight was already boarding. The lady told us not to worry, we wouldn't miss our flight, but there were only 2 seats left, one in the middle and one at the back. We were so disappointed. I didn't want to sit away from my mum because I was nervous about flying, and she wanted to sit with me because she doesn't speak English. The lady must have seen my face because she said, "Don't worry, I can sit you together." She printed out our boarding cards and we ran to the gate. When we boarded, we turned towards economy class and the flight attendant told us we were going the wrong way. The lady at the desk had put us in business class so that we could sit together. It was so comfortable, and we got all kinds of extra treats. I only wish I'd realized sooner and had thanked that lady properly.
Wow, that was such a fun story. I loved hearing about the different experiences people have when traveling. Now, let's see what you remember.
Exactly. Let's jump into the next round of questions.
Question number 1, who had their seat upgraded? Option A, Emily. Option B, Michael. And option C, Aiden. The correct answer is option C, Aiden. Question number 2, who boarded their plane before any other passengers? Option A, Emily. Option B, Michael. And option C, Aiden. The correct answer is option A, Emily. Question number 3. Who was injured while on their flight? Option A, Emily. Option B, Michael. And option C, none of the speakers. The correct answer is option C, none of the speakers. Question number 4. Who arrived late for their flight? Option A, Emily. Option B, Michael. And option C, Aiden. The correct answer is option C, Aiden. Question number 5. Who was mistakenly believed to be a child? Option A, Emily. Option B, Michael. And option C, Aiden. The correct answer is option A, Emily. Question number 6. Who was confused by an event he or she witnessed? Option A, Emily. Option B, Michael. And option C, Aiden. The correct answer is option B, Michael.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope you enjoyed traveling with us through stories, questions, and all those little surprises along the way.
Thanks so much for listening. Remember, every trip, whether smooth or bumpy, is a chance to learn something new and create memories that last.
And now it's your turn. What's your most unforgettable travel experience? We'd love to hear from you in the comments.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Max and Mia podcast. It really helps us keep going and bring you more fun content.
See you next time.
Bye-bye, travelers.